Parents of Reddit, what is the weirdest thing you caught your children doing? When my son was about 3 years old, he liked to wash his eyebrows with my facial cleanser. Just the eyebrows. Wet, lather, rinse, repeat. He said it made them nice and soft. As the son mentioned in this comment, I can confirm that my eyebrows were indeed super soft. That's odd. Not a parent, but when I was younger I caught my sister pooping on the carpet. She hadn't had an accident and a little bit ended up on the carpet. She was full on pooping on the carpet. Needless to say, my parents weren't too impressed. You should have convinced your parents that it was the family pet who did the pooping. That's the thing. We didn't have any pets at that point in time. It was the neighbor. There was a burglar, ate all the cookies, played with our toys, and didn't put them away, then took a deuce on the carpet and left. I'm just as surprised as you are, Mom. I indirectly knew someone who in high school had a boy over and did anal on their family's white couch, ended up getting shit all over the couch, and blamed it on the dog. The parents decided to put the dog down because they thought there was something wrong with it for pooping on their couch. I thought, poor dog. At the time, I was pregnant with my second child. I walked past the bathroom and heard my firstborn son, who was about 1.5 years old, in there making coughing sounds. I go in to look, and he was standing by the toilet coughing into it. I had horrible morning sickness, and he was mimicking me throwing up. Same boat. My 20-year-old daughter has been carrying small toys around in her shirt a lot more lately. Coincides with when my bump started to pop. Might be coincidence. Might be mimicking. Either way, she needs to stop stretching her honors out. I'm going to need them for her little sister. That's so ducking weird. My 3-year-old's first joke was, "Hey, look at my armpit," and she would point at her armpit and laugh. She would do this over and over. They warn you about first steps and first words, but first joke. I'm a proud dad. I would give this gold, but I'm broke. I saw my kid, who was 4, in the backyard looking for bugs or worms. He grabbed something and put it in his mouth. I asked him about a few minutes later. He said he ate a worm. I laughed and asked why. He said he wanted to know what it tasted like. So I asked, what did it taste like? He said it tasted like mud. The next day I asked him if he really ate a worm. He replied, yeah, in the most defeated and embarrassed way any human could. Yeah, live, yeah, learn. When my son was 3, he had night terrors for a few months. At least that's what I suspected. I was really concerned. The most unsettling thing he did wasn't waking up sobbing though. Sometimes he would wake up around midnight, walk to where I was, stare at me, and then walk back to bed. He wouldn't respond to me and just sit on his bed while staring at the ground. If I tried to comfort him, he would become angry and violent. Next morning, he'd be his normal self. At that time he would often ask if ghosts were real. We never exposed him to anything with that sort of content. I'd try to reassure him that they were just imaginary. He would insist that they were real. Sometimes at night he would call me to his room and say someone was there. I was freaking out a little, not just by the idea that my child was seeing strange shit, but that he might be suffering from psychological issues. My wife insisted that this wasn't something to be concerned about. She's a psychologist and I respected her opinion, but I just couldn't stop worrying. I felt like I needed to help my kid. Anyhow, it became less and less frequent and stopped altogether for the most part. He still asks about and insists that ghosts are real from time to time, but he isn't scared at night anymore. Maybe he befriended with them. Befriending your sleep paralysis monster can make them go away. I heard flirting with them also works too. I know this is going to be hard to believe, but I caught my 14-year-old doing multivariable factoring in his bedroom. I thought he was sleeping. Completely caught me by surprise. Why was he hiding this from you? He knows that I prefer calculus and it's really causing a rift in the family dynamic. It would seem that mathematics is a very integral part of your family. IDK if you're joking, but my parents have caught me doing math homework at 2 AM. My mother caught me licking butter from the box. Still remember the look of absolute horror on her face. That's something I would do. I'm here with Yule Mayo. You mean that's not normal? I can't believe it's not normal. I used to eat all the Miracle Whip by itself and loved the taste of Pepto-Bismol. Another was butter covered in sugar. There definitely exists a photo of me licking a handful of Crisco out of my little baby fists. I used to try and do the same. My son loved taking a bite out of a new stick of butter. It was so strange and hilarious. I rarely saw him do it. I'd lift the lid to the butter dish, see the bite taken out and nearly die laughing. My daughter had her door locked, which is odd. I gave her some privacy for a while, but then I got worried. So I made her open the door, and she was watching a political debate. She was 13. I don't know your life, so take this with a grain of salt, but I think you might need to step in soon and put your foot down on her watching that stuff. She might become a politician. IDK. I was into politics as a teenager. Now I'm just a deadbeat hitting my 30s. A deadbeat with a PhD though. Or even worse, a Republican.